All right, welcome everybody. We're going to be hopping into the Path to Carcosa cycle now. I'm going to be playing Mark Harrigan as the primary enemy dealer, and Gun's going to be playing Harvey. So quickly, we'll look over my Mark deck. For anyone just joining or not familiar with what we're doing, we're only playing with cards that are released up until this point in the game's history. So, in effect, what that means is core set, Dunwich, Carcosa, and the Investigator Starter decks. So there are some cards here that are a little bit underpowered compared to what's available now, and some cards that are specifically here for this mission that I wouldn't put into other missions, other campaigns, notably the Flying Clothes. You'll see why later. Um, that said, it's pretty standard for Mark. I have 4 weapons. That way, I am very likely to have a weapon in my opening hand. I have some things that deal with my Sophie, which lets me deal damage to myself to get skills. So I have either things that either heal me or do soaking. That said, if I do hit myself or one of my cards, I can draw a card with my reaction ability once per phase. That's pretty neat. Then I have some other things here to help out with landing my skill shots and whatnot. I do have a 5 fist, so that's pretty convenient. I'm very likely to win my combat. But yeah, so that's how Mark goes. I'm going to remember to switch to the game capture now, which I have done. So we can move into the game. I'm going to place down Curtain Call. I put my deck in. You can press build when you're ready.
Sounds good.
All right. So no permanents aside from Sophie, luckily. So she'll begin the game in play. She cannot leave play. As a fast reaction, I can take 1 damage to give myself +2 skill to the test. Um, and then if I
Back
have
to the
5
game.
or more damage on her, or sorry, on me, I flip her over. What's up?
You want to go back to the game?
Back to which game?
Oh, you're showing Sophie. Got it. Okay. My
Yes,
apologies.
no problem. Yeah, I was just talking about what she is because she starts in play. Once she
Fair
gets flipped
enough.
over, you get -1 to each of your skills, and that's not the best. So it's important to try to manage how much damage is on yourself. You start out with 9, and of course, as we saw last campaign with Jenny, trauma does add up quickly, so it's important with Mark to try to avoid that physical trauma to prevent Sophie from flipping, and then his weakness deals with how much damage is on him as well and converts that to horror, which is a very weak score for him. So it's very important that you don't overuse your power or you have ways to mitigate it. Alright, so I'm going to start my mulligan process. Alright, so this weakness is not legal, so I have to go get a new weakness. So we'll hop up here and do that. Again, we're only going to be taking random basic weaknesses that are legal in these sets. That's in the future. Also in the future. Future. Okay, eventually we're going to get one from here. That's from the return to, so we're not going to take that either, because those
Would
technically weren't available yet.
Would you like me to search mine out as well?
Yes, please. After you finish your mulliganing process is fine. This is from the
Okay.
base game, so I'll grab him. He's from the core set. And he immediately goes to the discard pile. And this is my other weakness, like I was saying. For every 2 red damage on you, you take 1 blue horror, so it's definitely an issue. So I replaced these 2 as part of the beginning phase. Alright, now we're going to do mulligans. So we're basically going to mulligan everything except for this one card, because it's very helpful in this scenario. And hopefully we find a weapon. Huzzah, we found 2. And a really cool card that's like a weapon. Alright, so we have a very good
Oh,
opening hand. This is going to go well for us. We're going to shuffle up. We're going to come up and check into the book now. Oh wait, hold on. Before we do that, we're going to hop over to this book. So my name's Tom, and I'm playing Mark, and it's Gun, and he's playing Harvey. This is
oh,
where you can keep note of important things like story assets, weaknesses, whether or not you've translated gifts or glyphs, or figured out a tome or strange solution, your trauma, stuff like that. And you can also mark if you've not spent all of your experience. We're going to head over here to the book. So there's a new keyword, hidden. So hidden cards are things that will go directly to your hand. They're similar to peril, except that peril resolves and goes away, at least up until this point. Now there's something called hidden, which is going to remain in your hand, and you're not supposed to talk about it with the other players. Another thing that's going to add into here is doubt and conviction. That's going to impact the story and the things that happen, and potentially cards will react to doubt or conviction. And then additionally, story cards are being introduced. Story cards are basically going to have text on one side, potentially other things on the back, and it will tell you what to do with them on the card. We will click the standard campaign book or bag. So that sets that up. Looks like it was already done, but it's okay to do it twice. In the prologue, we get a whole bunch of interesting things. Nobody's playing Lola, so we go right to curtain call, which is this scenario. We gather all of these encounter sets. We put some cards aside. We put these things into play, and we begin at the theater. If anybody was playing Lola, she would begin backstage, but nobody is. From there, we're going to shuffle the encounter cards and build the deck, and we would play. So that's what we're going to do.
Can I get a basic weakness, please? Because the one I have is thankfully not allowed for
Oh,
this
sure.
expansion.
In the future, if you need to, you can come up here and roll for them as well, I believe.
Oh, I just was
Uh,
wanting you to give me one blind so that way I didn't know what I was getting, as long
oh,
as it's legal.
sure. Well, here you go.
That one would have spelt almost certain death for Harvey.
Yes, you likely would have gone through with that one. And yeah, this one is from the Return to Carcosa, which is why I didn't keep it. All right.
Oh, that one.
Yep. So I've given you yours. I shuffled for you in case you didn't.
Thank you.
Shuffle for myself. I am ready to take my. We start in the theater, which has no clues. We need to get 6 clues to advance, and we have 6 doom on the agenda before that advances. As Mark, my first turn is going to be fairly simple. I'm going to spend 2 money to play Safeguard. Safeguard is a card from the Nathaniel Cho deck. We haven't seen this before because when I played Roland, I didn't have access to, or when I played the first mission in Night of the Zealot, I didn't take any of the Investigator Starter decks. This one lets you move when an ally or another investigator moves from your location to a connecting location. It exhausts itself so you can only do it once per turn, but for now, it's a really convenient way to get extra actions on a Guardian. So that was 2 money, and then the other 3 money is going to be for Machete, which is my favorite weapon, at least in the base game. So that's 2 actions, and then with my third action, I am going to draw a money because I might want to play this next turn, and I'll need money to do that. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off my first turn with not being indebted and instead play a laboratory assistant.
Nice. So now
So,
your maximum hand size is increased by 2. Real quick, I'm just
yes.
going to go over for Harvey. So Harvey says that whenever someone draws a card during the investigation phase, you can make them draw an additional card, which is pretty neat. It's a exhaust thing, so it can only, or it's limited to once per round. So we typically show that by exhausting. And then a lot of his cards power up by the more cards you have in your hand, and he has a couple of things that will help him do that. So you'll likely see Harvey draw a lot of cards, which is why he was saying that that other weakness he would have drew it a lot and probably killed himself.
So I will draw 2 cards off the lab assistant
Mm-hmm.
and then 1 for my Harvey power. And then I will. There are no clues here, so I'd like to take you on a trip with me if you'd like to come along.
Okay, so since Harvey's moving, I can exhaust my safeguard to follow, and I will, and we'll both go to the lobby. The lobby has a forced ability that when we reveal it, we must put 2 of the lobby doorway locations into play, and you can double click to draw 3 cards. So what we do is we pull out the lobby here. There's 3 different locations, so we shuffle, and we're going to put 2 of them in. So 1, 2, and then this other one stays removed from the game for now. I'm just going to put it over here. So you play Lab Assistant and Move. So I believe that's 2 actions. Oop, I didn't mean to flip your card. Apologies.
Correct. And then I'm going to go ahead and investigate. I'm going to go ahead and discard or commit extensive resource or research for 2 book.
Okay,
So we
so
can
you
go
just
ahead
need
and get.
7 to 4, so plus 3. And you
And.
succeed. So you get the 1 clue that's here. So this is one of those cards I
And
was talking about. This is available to all Seekers, but it's in the Harvey deck. And the more cards you have in your hand, the less money it costs, and you can get it down to 0 if you have 12 cards. And you can get 2 clues for an action. So and without testing, it's pretty neat. Already they have 6 cards in their hand, so it would only cost 6 for now. but we used it for the icons to test. Alright, so that's all three. So then we would go to the monster phase. It's the first turn, and there are none. So then we go to upkeep. The safeguard readies. We drew a card. That's a great one to draw. And we'll put a Doom on the agenda. Just reshuffling to make sure, and we'll draw an encounter card. I drew rats. They'll engage with me. Okay, so this
I
has
do not have any.
Surge, and it says if you had 3 horror, you'd lose an action. Well, it's the beginning, so no horror, but we're going to surge it up.
And I too have a friend.
But this is a friend that I'm not good at helping with. This one can only be damaged by spells, relics, or encounter cards. However, you can parlay to deal 1 damage to the monster using your book score. So I'm going to go and punch my rats. So I have a score of 5. I'm going to use my machete to be 6, and they are the only monster engaged with me, so that I would get extra damage, but that won't matter because of machete. That said, I succeed, so that's an action, and the rats go away. Then I have 2 actions remaining, so I'm going to use one of them to gain a money, and then I'm going to use the final action to play a guard dog.
Puppies.
Guard dog is super neat because it triggers my ability when I use it, so I'm getting double dip on that damage. That's my 3 actions.
All right. So my first action is I'm going to attempt to parlay with this spirit here. I'm baseline of +2.
Yep.
So I'm going to commit perception to this.
Makes sense to me. So you're +4. And as we can see, that's the entire bag minus the red squid.
And I needed it.
And you get a free card.
I do. So I will draw 2 cards, one from the perception and one from Harvey.
Your ability, sure.
We drew this as part of that. So I have. Does it count as one of the cards? Is the question.
No, it does not. So Revelation puts it into play. So you're going to take 2 damage.
Okay. And then I've got to make another attack or another parlay from here. I could be +2. But that's only about 80%.
Yeah, it's a pretty good chunk in the first mission. It's not too bad.
Let's do that.
Okay, so that's 4 out of 5 to succeed. That's one of them. All right, so that's second damage, which will kill it. So I'll just click it away, and that's 2 actions.
2 actions, and then as my third, I will go ahead and play this. That's losing 2 actions for the 2 of us. If I move, are you planning on taking a field trip with me?
Yes, I'll follow you.
Okay, then we'll go here.
Okay, I'm going to use Safeguard to follow. There's no clues here, but we can steal from the box office for money. All right. Normally stealing or doing things like that are bad, but if you need the money, maybe we'll think about it. We killed all the monsters, so now we go right to the upkeep step. So click upkeep. Put a Doom on the agenda, and encounter cards. Test book 4. If you fail, place a Doom or take a horror for each point that you fail by. Well, I'd like to try to not fail, so I'm going to use Sophie to take 1 damage. And I'm going to get +2 to my skill, so I'm going to have 4 book, and I'm going to draw a card using Mark's React.
Okay.
Conveniently, I drew my weakness.
All right, and I will give you another 2 book.
All right, so that gets me to +2, which we covered is about 80%, so we're going to give it a shot. That's -1, because we don't have any horror on us, so we pass. So you draw from your perception. And then you can only use Harvey's ability in the investigator phase, it says.
Yep.
So you can't use it now. But we do pass this test, and it goes away.
And then I will draw a bad guy and a location that has the most clues.
So that could be any of them, because currently none of them have clues. So since it's a tie, we get to decide.
It has to be a revealed location with the most clues, so it can only
Correct,
be
so
one
it
of
can
these.
only be one of these 3.
So do you want to deal with it now? I know that it hurts your machete situation, so we'll put it off in the next room for the moment.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, so that's both of our encounter cards. If you don't mind, I'd like to solve this problem.
Please do.
All right, so I have a couple of interesting ways I can solve this problem. But the simplest one is just going to be adding a vicious blow to my attack with my machete. So I have 5 base, +1 from the machete is 6, and then I'm committing vicious blow to be 7, so I'm +5. I get -1, so I succeed. I get 1 damage from the base, an extra 1 because I'm only engaged with this monster, and an extra one from Vicious Blow for a total of 3, which is the amount of health that it has, so it goes away. That's action 1. Action 2, I think I'm going to take a solo field trip over to
Okay.
here, grab this friend, and I'll fight it +3. And I will succeed and kill it.
Wonderful. That is a very clean board we have.
I am here to
So
encounter monsters.
I will go start here. I will move on down.
Okay, I'll use Safeguard to follow. So
Oh,
now
that's a
playing cards costs 2 more, so this is a good place to either commit things or just test it raw.
yep. And so I'm going to, as my third action, I will investigate at +2 with the Eureka.
Okay.
And as we discussed, it is a good place to be. That
That's a
is a
perfect
star.
draw. Oh, this
So
draws as
now I
well.
can.
It's not as
It
yeah,
does.
yeah, yeah.
So do I get to choose the order of operations on this, or does the
It
skill card
it it,
resolve
it
first?
shouldn't matter. You're gonna draw 3 cards here.
Right. If I
One.
get to choose one first, or do I have to draw the first and then?
So what I'm saying is it doesn't matter. Like you're only gonna get to draw 1 card from Eureka, and then they're gonna shuffle, and then you're gonna draw
Okay.
2 cards, or you draw a card, do Eureka, and draw a card. You know what I mean? Like it's
Sure. So I will draw 2 cards first, and then do my Eureka.
yes, that's actually that's how it would work
Okay.
because the star effect happens and then the test finishes.
Okay.
So
All right. And then we will Eureka and look at the top 3 cards.
yep, using this nifty search assistant.
And that'll be action number 3. And I will take. I don't have to. It's a card, right? Yes, I just draw it. Okay. So we'll add that, and then we will end my search.
Okay, so even though they have 10 cards in their hand now, they're going to draw one in the upkeep to go to 11, and they'll have to discard one. But that's a
Correct, as
future
I'm
us
out of
problem.
actions.
Yep. Alright, so we'll move to the monster phase. We've killed them all, so to the upkeep. Doom. Technically, we have to wait for them to discard their cards, so let's do that.
Yeah, we're doing all right on money, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that card.
Yeah. Alright, we'll put a Doom on the agenda, so that's 3 of 6. And encounter cards. More rats.
And more
Okay.
rats.
Well, I will punch my rats. They're dead. I will punch your rats. They're dead. And I will acquire money.
Okay.
Or actually, do you think you'll move 2 times or just once?
Um.
Probably just once, right? Or potentially not at all.
Yeah. I need to be able to play cards, and playing cards here is bad for me as I do not have a lot of economy, and this place makes it more expensive.
Sure. Alternatively, you could commit cards to the test. But
Sure.
either way,
Oh,
I'm just gonna stay here with you instead of moving up. I don't think you're gonna move twice.
I agree. It's probably not likely. Well, let's see. If I do that, then I move. Actually, I think it's a possibility.
I'm still gonna stay here. If I have to move
Okay.
next turn, I'll move next turn.
Okay. Well, I'm going to commit Eureka to this.
Okay, so you're +2.
All right, and we will pull.
Okay, we succeed. I'll get you the clue, and then you can do. So this time you have to do the Eureka, and then you can react after.
Yes. So we're gonna pull
That works.
this
Yes.
guy, and since I've drawn this turn, I will get 2 money,
So you can see here on Cryptic Writings, there's a react that after you draw it, you can play it. That bypasses the need to use an action.
and I get
And
to
since
draw
they
another
drew a
card.
card, they're able to use their Harvey react to draw a second one. And it was the second Cryptic Writings. It's a good thing you didn't take that money, or that you used the money card before.
All right, and then I will. So that's action 1.
Yep.
Action 2, I will move on up,
Yep, I'll follow.
and then action 3.
This might be a good book time.
I do have one of those, so let's get that out.
I meant the other one, but that one's good too.
I wish I had my book, but yes.
I thought you had the other book.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about that book. Yes, that was the other one I was thinking about. But yes, that is what we
Yeah,
have for
but
the
this will
now.
be fine. So you only have the +1 book. So
Yes.
as you get more cards in your hand, this is another one from Harvey's deck. It powers up. It's pretty neat. So 15 cards in hand might sound a little crazy, but there are a lot of ways to make that possible. As you can see, we have Laboratory Assistant already, and there's a couple of other cards that increase your hand size.
And
From
you're already.
here,
Well, I was
I have already
gonna.
used my turn.
Yep.
What do
But
we
if we
do?
do a deck size comparison, you have 24 cards, and I'm down to 14 also in my deck as a
Yes, so
remainder.
Horror Soak is going to be important. That said, we are going to move to the monster phase, and there aren't any, so we go to Upkeep. Okay. We're going to put a Doom on the agenda, so that's 4 of 6, and we're going to draw an encounter card. Could be rats, or it could be this friend. This needs to go to an empty location. Oh, no, a revealed location. So I'm very happy to throw it over here.
Okay.
So we'll do that.
And I'm testing book.
Okay, well, you're +2, so I have faith.
I will test that +2.
Okay. My
I
faith is
succeeded.
rewarded, so nothing occurs. All
Yes.
right. Um, did you want to go first, or?
I was going to take a stroll up top.
Okay. I don't think going up top is a good idea for me, so I'm just going to hold here.
Okay.
Head up to the balcony. After you make a move action from the balcony to the theater, you take 2 damage. So basically, you could come down and save or save an action for 2 money because you don't have to move back to the lobby.
All right. And looking at my hand. Um, oh, for each other card, so 3, 5, 6, 7. So that would cost me 4 for 2 to get me that, and then let me do that. How much time do we have on the agenda? We've got a little bit. I'm going to be greedy.
Okay, boss.
I'm going to play Forbidden Tome.
Okay. So Forbidden Tome has 5 secrets. You may spend a secret to draw a card, which obviously works really great with Harvey's React ability to draw extra cards. And then if you have no secrets on it, and 10 or more cards, you have to write up there that you have translated the tome. And what that will do is unlock experience upgrades to use for the Forbidden Tome that are locked until you translate it. And there's some pretty powerful ones. One of them works really well with Mark, which we're hoping to showcase.
All right, so that's that. And then I will click to use my book. And wait, my hand size is capped at 10, is it not? It is.
It is. You're currently at 8, so you're doing okay.
Sure, but I have one for upkeep.
I understand. I'm just being clear.
So, yep. So let's do shot at 2. Let's go ahead and I have a lot of money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it cost me 5. Let's go ahead and get both clues there.
Okay. So I think when you cast it, you had 8. It counts itself, right? So you
Each
were.
other card in your hand.
Oh, it is each. Okay, yeah. Each other, yeah. So you were right. So it's -7. So costs you 5. You get both clues. That's convenient.
Yep, and
You
that's my
could,
third action.
if you were gonna draw, you should have done it first, right? Because then you'd have 2 more cards.
I'd have no actions remaining for this turn.
Well, what do you mean? So if we just back it up real quick,
You
right?
sure?
All you've done this turn so far is play the book, right?
I had to also move up.
I thought you did that last turn. You're right. You're right. I'm wrong. Never mind.
You said you weren't taking a field trip with
No,
me.
you're right. I remember. I had memory wrong.
All good.
Okay, so then we move to upkeep, or do I get a
Upkeep?
turn?
No, you do get a turn, yes.
All right, I will head over to the theater just in case. I will spend an action to play Fine Clothes, and I will draw a card. Okay, so let me do upkeep. Okay, we'll put a Doom on the agenda, 5 of 6, and an encounter card. So this is a location, an attachment. It goes here, and it puts 2 Doom, which otherwise might be scary, but considering we are already at the Doom threshold, this is actually not changing anything, so we can basically ignore this now.
And one of those
And
hidden
that
cards
is our
populated.
first hidden card. So as you can see, I can't see it. I don't know what it is, and it's something that's impacting Harvey's gameplay.
That is a choice. Okay. All right. Did you want to go first, or do you want me to?
You can go first. I had nothing to do, at least not
Okay.
yet.
And it also takes up, unfortunately, one of my hand slots.
It might, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it counts as one of the cards in your hand. That's for sure. I don't know what it does.
Yes. Yes. So if I do that, I do that. And then I do that. I consider that acceptable-ish. 1, 2. Yeah, so we're going to play Fine Clothes.
Okay.
I'm then going to drop and take 2 damage, which my Fine Clothes and my wonderful lab assistant will take for me. And then I will replay another lab assistant, drawing 3 cards.
So you, what was the first action? I know you
Playing
moved.
Fine Clothes.
Oh, play fine clothes. Yep. Okay. All right.
All right.
So that's still 10. It's my turn. I don't really have anything exciting. On the off chance that we pull some extra friends, I'd like to play my weapon now, and then I'll get some money in case I have to play some of the cards in my hand.
Okay.
All right. So that's 3. 1, 2, 3. Upkeep.
Upkeep. And I have to discard.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. So we hit the Doom threshold. We click Reset. As part of this, it says if there's no Doom, discard it. So we just put it right in the discard pile. This says to search all set-aside cards and the victory display for the Royal Emissary enemy and spawn it in the theater. So it should be not that one, but oh, silly goose. All right, there we go. So here's the Royal Emissary. He preys on the lowest brain. My brain is 3, so he's going to choose to engage with me. He is massive, so he actually doesn't engage at all. But that's for when he's a hunter. It'll matter. He also has retaliate, so if you attack him and fail, he attacks you back. And then at the end of the enemy phase, each investigator adds his location or connecting location takes horror. So he's a problem. And that's that. So we're going to put that up here. This says after he is added to the victory display, forced, remove all Doom from play and reset the agenda back to 1A and place 3 Doom on it. So we're just going to pull this out of the trash because we might need it when we kill this guy. So we're basically going to rewind time, and it's called Encore. And we currently have 5 of the 6 clues that we need to potentially advance. All right. So now it's encounter card time, so I'll draw mine. For each cultist enemy in play, I believe this is a cultist. Yep. Move 1 clue from their location onto that enemy. Unfortunately, there's no clues there, and it says if no clues are moved, it gains surge. So we'll discard this and draw a new one. This is attached to your location. After you leave it, you must either take a horror or lose 1 action, and you can put a clue onto this location to get rid of it. All right, that's my encounter card, so it's your turn.
Okay.
Awesome.
Totally awesome.
All right.
I have some means of helping out, but not a lot of them.
Yep. So I have some things to do, I suppose. Would you like me to go?
Sure, because that will allow me to make decisions on what I need to do.
All right. I'm going to play 1-2 punch. 1-2 punch is super nifty. It's an attack that hits, and then if it succeeds, you hit again. So we're going to be attacking the Royal Emissary, who has a base attack of 4. I have 5 plus 1, so that's a total of 6. And I'm going to commit this to be 7, which is plus 3. And that's where I want to be, I guess. And we'll make the test. We succeed, so we deal 1 base damage. Now we make a second attack, and in the second attack we get plus 2. So we're going to fight again.
Would you like?
We
Okay.
succeed, and we do 2 more damage. So it's a total of 3 damage that should be on the Royal Emissary. Now we're going to engage the agent. Oh, this goes to the discard pile. We're going to engage Agent of the King. So as part of doing that, we trigger an opportunity attack because engaging is not one of the things that's listed. So the Royal Emissary attacks me. It will deal 1 damage to my guard dog and 1 damage to my fine clothes, which in turn kills my fine clothes. Because I got a damage dealt to my guard dog, I can deal 1 damage back to the Royal Emissary, which I will choose to do. And in so doing, we will put 3 Doom back and go to Agenda 1. I am not going to be able to kill the Agent of the King this turn for a number of reasons. So we are going to attempt to evade. I
If
took a
you can
damage, so I'm
do,
going to draw a card from Mark. You have something to say? Go ahead.
if you can do some damage, I might be able to help finish it.
Oh, well, in that case, I think I'll do a Falcon Punch. So I will use my machete, because the weapon has the same stats, but when I say weapon, I mean the automatic. But the machete doesn't have charges, so it's just better to use in this circumstance. So we will attack. We are plus 2, and that will be what we are. And we succeed. So we do 1 base damage and then a second damage from the machete.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and use. I've got a plan.
One of my favorite cards from Dunwich. So it's an attack that uses your book value to test, and then you get an additional damage for each clue you have up to plus 3. So it could be a 4 damage hit. So I didn't even have to hit at all, potentially.
Potentially,
Yep, but that's okay.
it's max. It has a max of max plus 3 damage. I read that wrong, so thank you.
No problem.
So I will go ahead and discard this just to get up to plus 3.
Sure.
All right,
So
and
you succeed. So it takes 4 damage, which is enough to kill it, and it does have victory. So we're going to throw it up here into the display.
all right. I am then going to click the location to place one of my clues.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Go for it.
Yep.
And then I'm going to start the Forbidden Tome train presently.
Okay.
To draw 2 cards. All right. That is my third action.
Sure. So then we go to the monster phase, but there aren't any, so we go to the upkeep. Put a Doom on the agenda, back to 4 of 6, and encounter cards. Okay. Well, that's a guy that I have a hard time interacting with.
All right. And Frozen in Fear. Okay. So I'd like to go first then.
Okay.
I will proceed to test at plus 3. This parlay is not on this list for Frozen in Fear.
Correct. That's a success.
That
That's
is a
only
success.
-1.
And
That's
a
also
-2.
a success, so that will kill it. And then are you going to click your tome?
I am, because I want to get this activated. And
Sure. So you'll draw 3 cards, I'm assuming, or?
Just 2.
Oh yeah, just 2. You're right. Never mind. All right,
All
and then
right.
it's time to test, right?
Well, before we do that, would you like to take a trip over to the next location?
It looks like it'll save you discarding a card, so sure.
All right, so we'll go ahead and shortcut on over.
All right, I'll come with. We go to the backstage area. When it is revealed, put 2 of the set-aside backstage locations into play. So that's going to be these. So we'll shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. We just grab 1 and put it into play. Grab a second, put it into play. And then these 2 are going to head over here and have a party together.
Oh, there's only 1 clue here? Ugh. Okay, I guess the others one can have as well. Okay, that works.
Alright,
Alrighty.
so I use Safeguard, and then that's a fast, so it didn't cost an action, but that's the end of your turn, right?
Yep, and I'm gonna have to brain test here,
I'd like to give you an additional
cause
brain.
and I will give myself 2.
You sure you want to give
So
up
I
that
will.
card?
Um, let's see. I'm at
You're +3 with my
so
Safeguard, so you only really need one more to get the bag. And even then, it's only an extra 6% or 7%.
okay.
Yeah, you're safe. I just think that other card's really valuable for you.
Sure. My hand is also several cards smaller because of the location, unfortunately.
Sure. I just think that that card for your deck is very valuable. Maybe not. I'll let you make decisions. I don't want to tell you how to play. All
Fair
right.
enough.
So that's all your actions. So I guess it's up to me to continue exploring. So I will head down. There's nothing here, so I will come back.
Okay.
um, and then I am going to play Emergency Aid, which takes a damage off of, or 2 damage from an investigator or an ally. So one from me and one from my guard dog. Just trying to really control my pain.
Okay.
So that's my 3. So no monsters. So upkeep.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know why.
Oh, that's. Oh, I thought it was the other one. I thought this was an amnesia.
Yeah, no.
Okay, well I have to discard still because I'm over my hand limit.
Yeah, so you can see here that when you're here, each hidden treachery card counts as 3. So there's one of them here. So instead of having 10 cards, they actually have 12. So they have to discard 2 more.
Yes. I'm going to get rid of that one. And 2 cards left in the deck, and I've got that. We'll go with that.
All right. So then that was the upkeep. So now we put Doom on the agenda. 5 of 6. And encounter card. I am not playing anything this turn. No problem.
I am
Brain
testing.
test. You're +2. Penalty is horror.
Okay. I am successful.
Huzzah. Actually, you were +3 because your Caliano fragments are activated because technically this counts as 3 cards.
That's included in what's up there right now.
Oh, never mind then. Continue.
Continue. All right. Um.
Well, we know that next turn the agenda is going to advance and then the Royal Emissary is going to come back to the theater. So my turn is going to be to step over to the theater. I have 2 actions remaining. Actually, yeah.
Before you do that, can I go first?
I was thinking no, but okay, you can go first.
I will go over here. Oh. Well.
So the more you succeed by, the worse it is.
Um. Well, you just take 1 horror. So if we're gonna suffer this,
We'll
we
deduce and just
will.
do it once. Sure.
We'll just do deduce and do it once.
Okay. All right. So you grab
Um,
them both.
I will take a horror.
Is that going to the lab assistant or you?
It's going to me.
Okay. That's 2
Um.
actions.
Yep. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. I will click on my tome yet again.
Okay.
And draw 2 cards.
Did you actually have
Huh?
2 or?
Yeah, I did have 2. I had two
Okay.
exactly.
Cool.
All right, that's my turn.
Okay. I don't know why you had to go first, but that's fine.
Well, one of these locations could be super bad if I
Maybe.
walked into it.
Possibly. All right. I'll go back to the theater to prepare for our friend. Unfortunately, because I drew dissonant voices, I can't play anything. And I'm low on money, so I will just power up some money. Upkeep.
Upkeep, I will take a horror from going through my deck.
End of round, I lose dissonant voices. Doom on the agenda. As we know, this is a new thing where we search the display, and it comes out and comes back, and then we set it aside and reset the Doom. Then we draw an encounter card. Ooh, I got one of these new hidden cards. Okay. So you can see here that it has a uh, thing limiting how I'm playing, and I can spend 2 clicks to get rid of it. All right.
All right, and my bad thing is
Uh,
another hidden card.
okay. Well,
Okay.
I have a friend, and I don't want him, so we're gonna fight. He's gonna take 2 damage, one from the machete and one from regular fight, and we'll fight again. That's gonna be a failure, so I'm gonna get retaliated on. So as part of that, the guard dog takes a damage, and then I can react with the guard dog to deal a damage back to him. Because it was Mark and I got taking the damage, I can draw a card, so I will. And then I will fight a third time. That is a success. So I have solved the problem, and in so doing, revert time, and that is my 3 actions.
Okay. At some point we obviously have to advance the agenda.
You're the boss on that. I'm just gonna keep killing guys till we don't.
Sure. I am thinking though, however, as you've used your turn, and I don't know what happens from here. I think that today is not that time.
Sure.
And in case I've got to do some movement, I will spend 2
Ah,
to do that,
so that says you can only move once per turn.
which is a spicy meatball.
Mm.
And then I am broke again, because that is a weakness that I'm not fond of. Um, that does that. So let's not do that this turn. And that would put me over my card limit, so that seems not the best this moment. Boom, boom. That does that. Does that. And so we will go ahead and just with my 1 money, I will play Strange Solutions.
So strange solution, you're going to take a book test. If you succeed, you'll discard it and draw 2 cards, and then you'll have identified the solution. Similar to Forbidden Tome, it has some XP locked upgrades that you need to identify the solution to gain access to. They have 3 different ones. One of them does combat, one of them does evading, and I think one of them does healing, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
Alright, so that's all 3 of your actions, and I've used all of mine, so now we would go to the monster phase. I keep saying there's no monsters. There is one. He's not a hunter, and as such doesn't do anything. But then we go on to upkeep. Ooh, that's my signature card. Unfortunately, I do have 8 cards in my hand now. I'm going to discard Smoking Pipe. I think I don't need that. I had made an edit to the deck where I took this card out and put in Shortcut, and I forgot to update that, so unfortunate for me. But anyway, we will go to Doom on the agenda and encounter cards. Ooh, another hidden card. My favorite. Oh boy.
More brain for me.
Okay.
And we succeed at +1.
Nice. Well, I'm just gonna start getting rid of this. So there's now I can commit cards to tests, which would have been super awesome before. And then we are going to play 1, 2, 3. We're going to play Flesh Ward, which is a cool card from Nathaniel Cho's deck. It has 4 charges, and it says whenever you are dealt damage or horror, you can exhaust it to cancel one of that damage or horror. So I can use that with Sophie to block Sophie, and I can use it on encounter cards or other things like that. However, if I block it and cancel it, I won't get to use my react ability. So it's a little bit of a it's not synergistic, but at the same time, it just lets me choose when I'm going to take my damage, which is important. And it also protects my horror. After the charges are gone, as you can see in the bottom, it's also Soak, so it's pretty cool. And it uses the Arcane slot, which is really hard for Guardians to use, so I like the card a lot. But that's all 3 of my actions. I clicked out my hidden card, and then I played that.
All right, well, let's go ahead and advance.
Alright, so you put your clues away. And here we go. We have to choose one of the set-aside locations at random, so that's these 2 over here. And we picked this one, which is over by the lobby. It says put it into play and then spawn the Man in the Pallid Mask there. So we're going to do that. Advance to one of the copies of Act 2A. So there's 3 different ones. 1, 2, 3. We're going to shuffle them up so we don't know which one is which. And then put it over here. Discard the other 2. Hopefully get it in the trash can. Alright. And then continue. So the Man in the Pallid Mask. He has an investigate ability on him. You can investigate his location, add 2 shroud to the difficulty, and if you succeed, instead of discovering clues, you can just defeat him outright. Alternatively, he is aloof, so in order to fight him, you'll have to engage him first. So normally when you move into a monster's location, it would engage you. As we said in Dunwich, aloof is a keyword that means they don't do that. Alright,
All right.
so you still have all 3 actions, I believe, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So that's a very far away person.
Okay.
So we will go move. Shortcut. That's one action. I really kind of want to get this book out the way before the real show begins. So let's see what the gods have in store for us. All right. And then being broke sucks. You know that? So let's go ahead, because our hand size is becoming a problem. Shortcut on over again.
I think I'm going to follow this time, just in case.
Sure. And then I will click for money.
Alright, so we still are not near any monsters, even though there's 2 here. Neither one is a hunter, so we go right to the upkeep. Put a Doom on the agenda, 5 of 6, and encounter card. If there is no Doom in play, there is, so I must test Brain, and I'll discard cards at random if I fail. I'm currently -2. I will commit Unexpected Courage to be even.
Okay. And I will...
I'm sorry?
I can give you some as well if you'd like.
We'll see. I'm going to use Sophie, and I'm going to block it with my Flesh Ward. So I get +2 skill. So now I'm +2. If you would like to give me more, you can. I am okay at +2.
I will give you +2 more.
Okay, so I'm +4, so just no red squid, please. Great, I succeeded. And that's it. Your turn.
All right.
That's no big deal. Do you have a clue? Ooh, we do
No,
not.
we have no clues.
Well, that card just got super powerful.
All right.
Well, would you like to go first, or?
Sure. I will go ahead and start by playing Harvey.
Okay.
Or my wonderful Vault of Knowledge. So my hand size is now 12.
Yep.
I will proceed to move, and I will take a horror.
Okay. I
from
will
this
not
wonderful...
follow you.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, just discard your whole hand. That makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Or
and
maybe
then
just deduce in a perception or something.
Yeah. And then as we've stated, I would like to go ahead and get this active, so I'm going to...
And then probably use this?
Yes, to get to 2 cards.
Sure.
And then, as part of Forbidden Tome, I have 10 cards. There are no secrets.
So you get to translate the tome. So you just put that up here in your Harvey Walter section. But I believe that's all 3 of your actions, right?
Correct.
Okay. I am going to move over to the theater, and I'm going to pay an action. And then with my 3rd action, I'm going to play First Aid, which is another way to control damage or horror. So you might see a sub-theme here of me trying to not die a lot. Alright. So I moved back because it's 5 of 6 on the agenda, so we know that the Royal Emissary is coming back to play with me. Monsters, so this is aloof, so it won't engage, and this is not a hunter. So we go to upkeep. Okay, put a Doom on the agenda, which advances, and as we know, it grabs the Royal Emissary out of the pile and spawns him here. Alright, so then we go to the encounter step. I draw an encounter card. So we're going to put 2 Doom on this location, of course, why wouldn't we? Which effectively means we're going to advance again next turn, barring shenanigans. Alright. Would you like to go with your encounter card?
You remove all Doom from play if you beat it.
Oh, yeah, so it'll go away. Never mind then. That's much better. Okay.
There's plenty of Doom in play.
There's just 2 now, actually. So.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So you're +2. No, you don't have the Caliano fragments anymore.
I have 11 cards.
Oh, you do. Never mind. I miscounted. Hey. All right. So we pass. I'd like to begin the fighting step.
Sure.
All right. So I'm +1. I will use the machete to be +2. I am now allowed to commit cards. So I would like to be +4. I
Oh.
did it, so we will hit. Overpower landed, so we draw a card. That card's also neat for the future. But we will fight now, and I will just be +2. I don't need any more, or I choose not to use any more. And that's a good choice, because I was going to fail. So I will put 1 damage on the guard dog, and I will block the other with my flesh ward. I will use the guard dog to bite him back, so he has 3 damage on him in case I fail again. So that was action 2, and then action 3 we will fight again at +2. And we will succeed again. So,
Okay.
as discussed, he will die, this will go away. The Doom comes off of that, so I'll just hit the reset button, and this comes back in, and we go up to 3.
Okay.
And that's my 3 actions.
All right. Well, I'm scared about drawing my weakness again, as it will come close to killing me. So I'm going to commit some cards to this test at this point, as
Sure.
I've gotten
Well, you've
a lot of
succeeded
value.
with your book, right? That's the important part for having the cards, unless you have the other card that lets you just take the clues
Yes.
for free.
Well, that's kind of where we're at the moment.
Sure. So it costs you 1 money for the clues?
It does cost me 1 money for the clues, so we're going to do that.
Okay, so since there's 11 cards, it only costs 1. Okay.
All right. I'm then going to investigate at 7, so I'm -1 presently.
Okay, so we're testing the Man in the Pallid Mask investigate.
Yeah, that is a spicy location.
It is definitely a challenge. So perception gets you to +1. Eureka gets you to +2. Deduction is +3. And I don't remember. I can't figure out what it's called. Feed the Mind gets you to +4.
Let's pull.
We succeed. We're going to draw a card and do Eureka. You get to choose that order.
I will then draw from Eureka. I will draw from. When does Vault of Ages kick in? Is the next question.
You mean Vault of Knowledge?
Yes.
So you've successfully investigated. So again, all of this is I think it's all at the same time.
Okay.
So you would get to choose, is how I would interpret it, because all of these things are things that happen after you successfully investigate.
All right. So I will Eureka next. I will choose this card.
Interesting.
So my hand size is 1, 2, 3, 4,
You
5,
take 2.
6, 7. I take 2. And then I will draw the remaining 2 cards, one from Harvey,
Sure.
and no, I already did a Harvey, but I did already my Harvey on the previous perception. So just from that, yeah, I just have 1 more left.
Okay, and then just to not confuse everybody, all of these are gone.
Yes. And I chose my weakest on purpose, so that way I didn't possibly hurt myself longer and just get it out the way.
Yep.
So we've parlayed with the man in the pallid masks.
Yep, so part of the pallying is he gets discarded, so he goes up here. And then whenever he leaves play, we advance. So we flip this over, and instead of discarding him, he gets moved to the lobby, which is down here. We're going to be adding 2 Elder Things to the bag, which are these. We're going to place 1 horror on every private location. So that's basically not the balcony, not the theater, not the lobby, and not backstage, but everywhere else. All of the adjoining or connecting locations. And then that one. From there, until the end of the scenario, horror on locations represents an additional ability of flooding water. When you would try to leave, you must test 2 feet. If you fail, you'll take a damage and cancel the effect of the move, but that can only happen once per round. Keep this next to the act deck as a reminder and advance to Act 3A. At the end of the round, place a horror next to each location that is connected to one with horror. And if each undefeated investigator resigns, we can advance.
Okay.
All right. So monster step. No monsters
I
here. We'll be
I
doing. What's up?
I have one more.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. I'm sorry.
I'm going to test my strange solution.
Okay. So you're +2 base.
Yep, and I will go +3.
3. All right. So you succeed. So you'll draw 2 cards, and also identify that you have found the solution, or identified the solution, and then this gets discarded. Well, that's productive. You solved or researched both of your cards, which is great.
This one is nice and generous on the time, unlike some of the other ones we've dealt with.
Well, I get to keep resetting by killing this guy, so.
And as I drew this as part of that, I will go ahead and collect 2 money.
So what was the order? Because you also drew this weakness, right?
That was first.
Okay, great. So then we go to the monster phase, like we said. There's nothing to happen, so upkeep. Doom on the agenda, 4 of 6, and counter card for me. I cannot play cards until end of round.
I will test
Test
brain.
horror, your +2 base.
I think I'm actually +1 because I'm only down to 9 now.
I agree.
So we will go ahead and go
+3. That's
that
a
is a failure.
-4, and you're on a location with horror. So you're going to fail by 1, and then take a horror. So you take 2 total horrors, what I'm counting.
If you have it, if the location has 1 horror on it, take 1 horror from the token pool. So
No.
I just take 1 horror.
If your location has at least 1 horror, take 1 horror.
On it, take 1 horror from the token pool. So I
So
don't take the horror from the location, I just take a horror.
You take a horror from failing rotting remains, right?
Oh, thank you. That's the part I was missing. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
All right. So that was your encounter card. So.
Yep.
I'm assuming that you want to go first, but I'm open to that not being the case.
I'm going to go ahead and leave this location. I would like to. Skulls are now -3 for me because of how much horror I have taken.
Okay.
One. At best, it's a test of 2.
It's a test of 2, yes.
Okay. We will try to test with being at +3.
Okay.
And we are successful.
All right. Oh, and then we were supposed to, at the end of the round, we were supposed to put more horror on, right? That's up here? Yeah. So the only 2 qualifying locations are the backstage and the lobby, but it shouldn't matter.
Yes. And then I now have to test him in order to be able to leave, correct?
Correct. The lobby does not currently have the resign clause. That only is when the man in the pallid mask is gone.
All right. So I am here. I am plus.
So 4, you're a base of +2.
I am even because he gets +2 to the location.
Correct. You are even.
So I will discard perception, or I will commit this perception and
so you're +4.
cryptogram.
You pass. You draw from perception, and then if you'd like, you could use your ability.
I will draw 3 cards.
2 cards, right? Oh, yeah, an extra one from the vault. Never mind.
Yep. So that's action 1. Action 2, he has now been removed, and I believe that you can walk over here with no horror on you to resign.
I can, yes. So if you want to resign, you can.
I am going to resign.
All right. I have nothing extra or special to do, so I'll follow suit. We have both resigned, so we now have to choose. We have an option between warning the police about what's going on or just saying they won't believe us and we solve it on our own. Typically, when I play, I tend to go with the police won't believe us and solve it on our own. What do you think?
I'm happy to follow whatever path you want to go. If you want to tell the police, or we'll solve it on our own, let's go.
I'm my own cop. I don't need their help.
Let's go.
All right. So we decide. That's R2 is to not tell them, right? Not that one. This one. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So resolution 2, a whole bunch of lore. Do you think it was wise not to warn anyone? Oh, actually, this is not what I usually do. Okay. It's okay though. We'll do it this way. You chose not to go to the police, and we mark a doubt in our campaign log. Also in the campaign log, record the stranger is on to you. Add the man in the pallid mask weakness to the lead investigator's deck, which is me. It will not count towards my deck size. For the remainder of this campaign, anytime the bearer of the man in the pallid mask would leave it for any reason, someone else has to become the bearer of the weakness. Additionally, in your campaign log, under the Chasing the Stranger part, place 2 tally marks. For the remainder of the campaign, keep a tally for the number of times the man in the pallid mask is defeated during each game. Each tally will bring you one step closer to the truth. And then finally, we get experience equal to the victory display. So we can see here that it's a total of 7. There's 2 on the Royal Emissary, 1 on the Agent of the King for 3. Then there's 4 in the green room, 5 in the lighting box, 6 in the balcony, and 7 in the rehearsal room. Neither the dressing room nor the box office have XP, and this one does, but we didn't get it. But that's pretty neat. We got most of the XP that's even possible here, and that's our scenario 1. We're going to be upgrading our decks with that 7 XP, and we will see you tomorrow night as we tackle the Last King. Hope everyone had a great time. Good night.